Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for April the 4th, 2011. If everybody would join me in singing O Canada, please rise and remove all headgear.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to Mr. David Bray for that rendition of O Canada and to the National Film Board of Canada for the images of our country. So we'll move on with our agenda, and the first item of business is the adoption of the previous meeting minutes. Councillor Rice?
I move adoption of the meeting held March 21st, 2011.
Thank you very much. Did anyone spot any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries, and then we have the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Crokin?
Thank you, Mayor. I move council adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. So that brings us to the delegation portion of our meeting, which is an opportunity for anybody who would like to address council to come forward and address any of the items aside from public hearings that are on the agenda, to come forward and address council. So if there's somebody here, please come forward. I'd like to recognize you, gentlemen.
Hello, I'm from the Pinnacle Ridge Neighborhood Association. I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Please have a seat and introduce yourself. And, just your name and so for our city clerk.
I'm Rob Lesage, and I'm the treasurer for the Pinnacle Ridge Neighborhood Association.
Okay. Thank you. And so the tax bylaw is one of the items that's on our agenda tonight, and so you're just here to answer any questions if council has any?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Were there any questions for the delegation? Councillor Rice?
So you formed an association. How old is your association?
The association's been in some form probably for almost 2 years now, probably 2 years from January. And the association was very informal at the start, and it is now on the verge. We've now got our incorporation papers, and we now also are on the verge of getting the liability insurances for the directors and the association.
So with the bylaw, proposed bylaw coming up this evening, you're quite confident that the majority of the residents have been informed of that special levy, and the majority had no problem with it?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any further questions for the delegation? No? Seeing none, I think that was it. Thanks very much for coming today. Thanks for all your work with the association. So again, this is an opportunity for anybody in the community to come forward to address council on any issue of community concern. I'll ask a couple more times. Is there anybody that would like to come forward to address council on any matter? Is there anybody that would like to come forward to address council on any community matter? Seeing none, then we'll move on from the delegation portion of our agenda onto public hearings, of which we have none, unfinished business, which we have none, and reports, which we have none. And that takes us into committee business, and it starts with the Public Works Committee meeting of March 22nd, 2011. Councillor Wong?
Yes, I move that council receive the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting held March 22nd, 2011.
Thank you very much. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Please carry on, Councillor Wong.
Yes, I move council award tender T-07-552-11 for the 116th Street upgrading 68th Avenue to 97th Avenue in the amount of $6,872,502.43, excluding GST, to Wapiti Gravel Suppliers, Division of NPA Limited, as the lowest bid meeting specifications. And if I could just speak to that really briefly, council at the last budget session decided that it was going to pave the section of 116th Street from 68th Avenue to 84th Avenue, and that was added in with the job that was previously on the books to twin from 84th Avenue north to 97th Avenue. So this was rolled in together. It was tendered in as one job, and it saved us about $1 million over what we had budgeted.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Wong. So discussion, debate, questions or comments? I see Councillor Rice.
How long do you anticipate this project? Will it be a one summer project, or is it going to be longer than that?
Councillor Wong.
Yes, administration tells us that the deadline for this job is I think the middle of October, but they do anticipate that it's going to be finished in one summer. They just have to allow for the entire construction season.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, discussion, or debate? Seeing none, then we'll call for the vote. Thank you. And Councillor Wong, please carry on. You'll have to, yep, you're on.
Okay, I move that council award the engineering services contract for the 2011 traffic signals project in the amount of $85,212, excluding GST, to ISL Engineering and Land Services Limited as the highest evaluated proponent.
Okay. Thanks very much. Any discussion, debate? Councillor Rice?
What is the traffic signals project? That doesn't seem like a lot of money. Traffic signals are substantially more than that. So what is the project?
This is the engineering phase of the traffic signal project. It's for the 3 traffic signals that, the traffic lights that council approved working on. That's the one on 116th Street and 84th Avenue. There's another one on 92nd Street and 104th Avenue. And that's it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, just for those 2.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion, debate, or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Councillor Wong, did you have anything else you wanted to highlight from that set of Public Works minutes?
No, thank you, but I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Any questions for Councillor Wong? And seeing none, then we'll move on to the General Government Services Committee meeting from March 23rd. And Councillor Rice, I believe that was your committee?
Okay, I move council receive the minutes of the General Government Services Committee meeting held March 23rd, 2011.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Please carry on, Councillor.
I would move first reading of bylaw C-1227, a special tax for Pinnacle Ridge. This is at the request of the Neighborhood Association, and it's for the maintenance of the fountain. However, they did address, oh, sorry, did you want to?
Yeah, sorry. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. I'll just recognize Councillor Monroe.
Thanks, Mayor. Given as I declared a conflict in the committee meeting, I think I should probably be consistent and declare conflict at this time as well, too.
Okay, thanks very much. So Councillor Monroe declares a conflict of interest, and we'll leave the council chambers. Councillor Rice, please carry on.
So they did speak of other projects that they will be looking at in the future. And this is a bylaw that will do a special assessment of approximately $20 per year per household, and it's annually.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any? So we have a motion for first reading. I'll call the question. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Rice?
I move second reading of bylaw C-1227, special tax for Pinnacle Ridge.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. And so on second reading, I would open it up for discussion, debate, questions or comments. I see Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I just have a question for Councillor Rice. I wasn't sure, reading up on the material, there's probably going to be other neighborhoods that might want to take this on and do more of it. And is it included in this special tax for this, not only Pinnacle Ridge, but when others come on stream, that it be included that it wouldn't cost more and the taxpayers will have to add more down the road and more neighborhoods might get involved? Has that been included in this as well?
It's an annual tax. This is the amount agreed on. I imagine that the amount of the levy would be set each year depending on the projects they want to do. But in reflection of your comment that, other neighborhoods may want, I certainly hope so. I believe this was a giant step forward, the formation of this organization and the type of projects it's taken on, and exactly what council had envisioned in terms of neighborhood associations, the evolution of neighborhood associations in Grand Prairie.
Okay. Councillor McLean?
And I believe this is a great thing that can happen, and when more come on stream, they'll say, oh, we need a extra body to help with this, so just throwing that out there. Thank you.
And just for clarity, Councillor Rice, this tax is is essentially ensuring that the residents in that neighborhood are paying the additional cost for the service, in this case the water fountain that they want to have, and it doesn't have any impact on any of the rest of city taxpayers outside of that service area. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any further discussion or debate? I see Councillor Wong.
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. I am definitely supportive of this motion. I'm very impressed by the neighborhood association that they were able to set up the association and really identify priorities for the neighborhood. And this particular local improvement tax, or the special levy, allows them to fund something that is specific to their neighborhood. And just to point out to the public, 668 property owners were sent letters, and 7 of them replied against. So I think that shows that there was definitely quite a bit of support for the association, and I think that council needs to support the association for everything that they've done.
Thanks very much. Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll certainly support the motion. I think that the Neighborhood Association deserves kudos for establishing themselves, as Dan has mentioned, looking at a priority. But I think we should understand that this levy is to do the specific maintenance. It was a priority of the community, but it certainly isn't to fund the Neighborhood Association, right? The Neighborhood Association will do many other things that we think will be good for the community, and we would hope that other communities would take that lead and develop themselves as community organizations. And hopefully with our safe growth concept, we can support those neighborhood associations to do even more in their community. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any further discussion or debate? We're on second reading. Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. Second reading carries. Councillor Rice?
I move that we have third reading of bylaw C-1227, a special tax for Pinnacle Ridge. In order to have 3 readings in one evening, this will need to be unanimous.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So a motion to have third reading is debatable, I think, to the merits of having third reading tonight. Anybody care to discussion or debate on that point? Councillor McLean?
I just want to say I'm fully in support of this, but as other neighborhoods come online, to say that the city won't be, need extra help with this or with taxes, and I think we just have to make note of that. That's all I want to say. And I'm looking forward to more neighbors, but they need more manpower to probably do a lot of it when it does come on board. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Any further discussion or debate on having third reading tonight? Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries unanimously to have third reading. So, Councillor Rice, we can do that
I
tonight.
move third reading of bylaw C-1227, the special tax for Pinnacle Ridge.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, third and final reading of the bylaw. We'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. The bylaw is passed, and we can call Councillor Monroe back into the council chambers.
And at this point, your worship, for agenda items 9, 2.2.3, and .4, I will declare a conflict and ask Alderman Gustafson to take over.
Okay, thanks very much. Councillor Rice declares a conflict of interest with the following 3 items and has left the council chambers. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council give first reading to bylaw C1253, business tax assessment.
Thanks very much. So a motion for first reading. We'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
I move council give second reading to bylaw C1253.
Thank you very much. And so second debate, or second motion is debatable. Any discussion or debate? Questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. And Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council have third reading of bylaw C1253 at this meeting.
Okay, and so to speak to that one, this is the motion to have third reading at tonight's meeting. This must be unanimous. There is discussion and debate on the merits of having the third reading tonight. Anybody? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. So, Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you. I will move the council give third reading to bylaw C1253.
Thank you. So motion, third and final motion, or third and final reading. Call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Please carry on, Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that council give reading to bylaw C1254, business tax rate.
Downtown Association, Downtown BRZ business tax rate. I think we just need to be
Thank you.
specific. Okay. So we have motion for first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council give second reading to bylaw C1254.
Thanks very much. So motion for second reading, open for discussion, debate, questions or comments. Maybe Councillor Gustafson or for administration, the business tax bylaw is directly related to the Downtown Association's budget, and was that budget circulated to its members at a meeting of the association?
I believe that we had that at the last safety meeting. I've looked to Finance Minister or Financial Director Don Swant for some assistance.
Oh, Mr. Swant, you had an upgrade.
Thank you, Councillor Gustafson. Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, that was circulated at a prior meeting.
Okay, okay, thanks very much. So we have on the floor second reading. If there's no further discussion or debate, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, that carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Okay, thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council have third reading of bylaw C1254 at this meeting.
Okay, we should all just vote beginning clear on the motion to have third reading must be unanimous. Open for discussion or debate. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion does carry unanimously. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council give third reading to bylaw C1254.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion for third and final reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. And one more, I think, there, Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I will move the council give first reading to bylaw C1255, 2011 downtown BRZ business tax rebate.
Great.
Business tax rate.
Sorry, business tax rate.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. So motion for first reading. We'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you. I will move the council give second reading to bylaw C1255.
Thank you very much. So a motion for second reading, open for discussion, debate, questions or comments? Councillor Radburn?
Yeah, we just have administration let us know what kind of a percentage increase is this
Mr.
for
Swan?
members of the downtown business.
Thank you, Mayor Given. It was a negligible increase from last year. I don't know the exact figures, but it was very, very minimal.
Mr. City Manager, do you have additional information?
2 point something.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Given. The difference in the tax rate is 0.02%.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for that clarity. Councillor Monroe, did you have a question? No? Okay. Thank you very much. So we're still on second reading, I believe. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
I'll move the council have third reading of bylaw C-1255 at this meeting.
Okay, a motion to have third reading tonight. Well, any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council give third reading to bylaw C-1255.
Thank you very much. A motion for third and final reading of the 2011 Downtown BRZ business tax rate. We'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. And if we could call back Councillor Rice. And Councillor Rice, we're on to 9.2.5, and it's all yours. If you want to make sure that your microphone's on.
I would move first reading of bylaw 1256. 1256 is a supplementary property assessment, and this bylaw will allow the city to assess property with new construction, buildings, major additions, and renovations in the same year they are completed and occupied. So I move first reading.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So motion for first reading. We'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Rice?
I move second reading of bylaw C-1256, the 2011 supplementary property assessment bylaw.
Okay, so motion for second reading, open for discussion, debate, questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries.
I move we have third reading of bylaw C-1256, the supplementary property assessment bylaw.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion to have third reading. Open to discussion or debate. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries unanimously.
And I move third reading of bylaw C-1256.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So third reading, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Rice?
Okay, I would move first reading of bylaw C-1257. It's a supplementary property tax bylaw, which is in accordance with Section 369 of the Municipal Government Act. It ties in with the previous bylaw. It's just following provincial legislation.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So a motion for first reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries.
I move second reading of bylaw C-1257.
So that second reading is open for discussion, debate, questions or comments. A question, if I could, for administration. Mr. Swant, I wonder if you could just highlight for us how this bylaw it differs from the one that we just passed previous.
Thank you, Mayor Given. The one you just passed previous allows us to assess the property, and this one allows us to tax it.
Okay. Thanks very much for that clarity. Thank you. Any further discussion, debate, or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you.
I move that we have third reading of bylaw C-1257.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Rice. A motion to have third reading here tonight. Any discussion or debate on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries unanimously.
Okay, moving on.
Councillor Rice, I think that was the motion to have, so we need
Was
to
it?
have.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was moving third reading. I got kind of confused. I move third reading of bylaw C-1257.
Thanks very much. Councillor Rice, if we got through all those and only one of us got confused, we did pretty well as a team. So, motion for third reading, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice.
Okay, I would move that council approve the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association Visitor Information Center Agreement, which includes a funding increase of $21,021.75 for the 2011 calendar year. This is required because Travel Alberta has determined that not only in Grand Prairie but across Alberta they are not funding for visitor information centers, and so this it was felt by the city that this is an important service to the business community and the visitors to our region.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any discussion or debate? I see Councillor Wong.
Yes, I'm going to be supportive of this motion. I believe that the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association needs this funding in order to continue to operate the Visitor Information Center, which is a municipal service. That's city's responsibility. Just to be clear, that Travel Alberta, they're no longer funding like the actual physical lease for visitor information centers. They still give grant money or operational dollars for the visitor information services, but just not for the lease anymore. So this will make up that shortfall there and allow the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association to still offer comparable services.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I too will support this motion. I think that admin did some good work in terms of looking at a couple of different contracts. And I like this one because it allows us to maintain a level of service for the rest of 2011 and allows us some flexibility to look at how we're going to deliver that service or who should deliver that service in 2012. So I will be supporting this motion as well.
Okay, thanks very much. Any further discussion or debate? Questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Rice?
Okay, I would move that council approve for 2011 a $100 property tax rebate to those seniors who receive the Alberta Seniors Benefit Income Subsidy living in the city of Grand Prairie. This is a rather interesting one. I guess it's I'll call it nice work if you can get it, whereby if we pass this motion, all seniors who are receiving the Alberta Seniors Benefit will receive a check from the province for $100. Upon promptly, they will then bill the city of Grand Prairie to recoup that. So just in case people think this came from the province, it doesn't. It will actually be city money.
And I think administration could correct me. I think that is noted on the check, but certainly it is a province of Alberta check, but it's says from City of Grand Prairie in small print on the bottom somewhere. I don't know if administration would like to speak to that, maybe, Mr. Swan.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yeah, that's correct. It acknowledges the City of Grand Prairie as the rebate or the rebate provider.
Okay, thanks very much. Any discussion or debate, questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Rice, you a couple more yet.
Oh, yes. Okay, more of these bylaws. I would move first reading of bylaw C 1258, which is the 2011 property tax. This will set the property tax increase in municipal taxes for 2011 at 2.5%.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So we have a motion for first reading of bylaw C 1258. We'll call for the vote. Thank you.
I
Motion
move
carries.
sorry.
Thanks, Councillor Rice. Please
I
carry on.
move second reading of bylaw C 1258, 2011 property tax.
Thanks very much. So we have a motion for second reading. This is where we have an opportunity for discussion, debate, questions, or comments on the motion. See Councillor Radburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. To Councillor Rice or Min, can you tell me about allocating the additional tax levy of $350,000 to street light operations?
Well, that'll come after, if we pass this, when it is allocated, and I think Mr. Swan could step in, but if you take 2.5% and take it across, it of course doesn't come out evenly, and so it's what to do with that little amount that's left over to
Well,
round it off.
But, so I
What are
just-
we doing with this $350,000 is my question.
The street light operations have,
Okay, no, sorry, Councillor Rice, I'm gonna stop you there. This is a motion basically
Yes,
to
sir.
collect the taxes. And there is, and so after we've passed all the motions to actually collect the money, then there'll be supplementary motions to say what we're gonna do with these amounts, and we could have that discussion then.
That's all one.
Okay, so we're on second reading of bylaw C 1258, so about the property tax bylaw. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote on second reading. Thank you very much. That motion carries. Councillor Rice?
I move that we have third reading of bylaw C-1258.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So a motion to have third reading here tonight. Discussion or debate? See none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Councillor Rice?
I move third reading of bylaw C-1258.
Okay, a motion for third and final reading of the bylaw. We'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, so we'll move on to those supplementary motions.
Okay, I would move that we allocate the additional tax levy of $350,000 to street light operations and allocate the additional tax levy of $169,000 to the multiplex construction and reduce borrowing accordingly, and allocate an additional $21,000 to the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association Visitor Information Center. This is not in addition to the $21,000 we just voted. This is the $21,000. Operation of the street lights has become a serious concern. The operating cost of the street lights has just escalated astronomically, and Mr. Descavich may want to speak to that.
Sure. Mr. Scavich, can you speak to the change in operating costs for street lighting?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Councillor Rice is absolutely correct. The increases to the streetlight operations account exceed the budgeted amount, and that's partly due to additional lights coming on, but also the huge power spikes and increases.
Mr. Scavich, can you speak to sort of the total amount of the cost of operating the streetlights in the city for a year?
Thank you, Mayor Given. They're exceeding the current budget projection. We budgeted about $100,000 a month, and the first bill for January came in at $300,000.
Okay. So, okay, thank you very much. Any discussion or debate on any one of those points? On any one of those three portions?
Just to say, we do have a meeting set up with ATCO.
Okay. Thanks very much. Any discussion or debate on any one of those 3 points on Councillor Rice's motion? Seeing none, then we'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Rice?
I move that council receive the unaudited financial statements and schedules for the 12-month period ended December 31st, 2010 for information. So they've now gone to the auditor.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any discussion, debate, questions or comments on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Rice?
Now this didn't seem to make it onto our agenda.
9.2.11?
Yeah, well, I know, but there's another one. Okay, I move that council approve resourcefully inspired as the city's new slogan and logo.
Okay, thanks very much. So we have a motion there. Any discussion or debate? I see Councillor O'Toole.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Given. I'd like to move that the matter of the slogan and the logo be referred to the Council Committee of the Whole Strategy Session for further review.
Okay, thanks. So that's a motion to table it there? Or
Yes,
refer,
please.
sorry, motion of referral, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so a motion to refer this to a Council Committee of the Whole Strategy Session. I'll rule that in order, and we'll have a debate on that motion. Councillor Wong?
Yes, I was just wondering if administration could answer the question of what the budget implications of delaying this motion today would be.
Okay, so a question that if this was referred, what the costs would be to the city of that decision. Mr. Ollinger, I think that'd be an appropriate question for you.
Mayor, given to Councillor Wong, there is no budget implication in that we have a contract with the supplier to develop a logo, slogan, design elements, and a style guide. And the design elements, of course, would feed into the impending design to the website. So at this point, there would be no impact at this point.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Wong. So in my queue, thank you. Is there any further discussion or debate on the motion to refer to Council Committee of the Whole? Seeing none, then we'll call for the vote on that motion. Thank you. And that motion carries unanimously. It will be referred to Council Committee of the Whole strategy session. Okay. Councillor Rice, was there anything else from that General Government Services Committee meeting?
No, I would be pleased to answer any questions.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any questions for Councillor Rice on the GGS meeting? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the Arts Development Committee meeting, and I believe that was Councillor Monroe.
Thanks very much, Mayor Given. I would move that Council receive the minutes of the Arts Development Committee meeting held March 23rd, 2011.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. Any discussion on those minutes? Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Monroe, was there anything you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
Sure, just some brief highlights, Mayor Given. We did fund a couple of projects, such as a documentary film, Trek, which I'm sure that some people have already heard of and watched. We sent a young lady to a dance academy workshop. Pardon me, we'll be sending someone, a young lady, to a dance academy workshop. We'll also be sending someone to National Ballet School in Toronto. And we've got a lady that is going to be pursuing her second year of studies in a master's degree as a pianist. So out of the $7,000 in grant funding that we were to allocate out, we did give out $5,500, and that means that back in the fall, we will have another opportunity to give away another $1,500 in funding. So I thought it was a great meeting, and there was some very impressive applications for funding. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. Any questions for Councillor Monroe on that Arts Development Committee meeting? Seeing none, then Pursuit of Excellence, Councillor Gustafson. Sorry, Councillor Gustafson, you haven't come on there, so I don't know if you... Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that council receive the minutes of the Pursuit of Excellence Committee meeting held March 24th, 2011.
Thanks very much. So we'll motion for them approve the minutes. Did anyone spot any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson, did you want to highlight anything from that set of minutes?
Yes, briefly, we approved some funding for the gymnastics to host the Western Canadian Gymnastics Championships being held here on April 28th to 30th. In Grand Prairie, we supported and funded 2 alpine skiing coach traveling funding, and some alpine skiing, swimming, cross-country running, cross-country skiing, and a bowler and a wrestler on this round of funding this time. So all the best to those athletes and their endurance and their competition. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any questions or comments for Councillor Gustafson on those set of minutes? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Community Development Committee for March 29th. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council receive the minutes of the Community Development Committee meeting held March 29th, 2011.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Did anyone spot any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. Please carry on, Councillor Gustafson.
Yes, I'll move that the City of Grand Prairie, I'll move that council approve the City of Grand Prairie Cultural Master Plan. And if I may speak to that for
Sure,
a
please.
minute. Cultural activities and facilities have substantial tangible benefits for a growing city like Grand Prairie. Culture is a shared responsibility between all levels of government. Culture, with municipal funding most important, it is also shared between government, the nonprofit sector, the corporate sector, and individuals. Local government provides cultural policy, funding, and facilities. The city and the county and the region can collaborate more effectively with this plan. This plan also has lots of financial implications of the implementation plan, new and expanded programs that will require ongoing investment. I'd like to make a special thank you to the advisory committee board members, Laurie Harrison, Candace Hook, Robert Stephen, Jeff Whittle, Rick Merciuk, sorry, Rick, and old-time alderman Elroy Dimert. Also, the Grand Prairie is a city of 50,000 and service center of a region of 250,000 people, incorporating northwestern Alberta and northeastern British Columbia. As a regional hub, the city boasts a cultural life beyond that of most cities with a population of 50,000. The city is committed to developing a more cosmopolitan urban environment and maintaining a high quality of life to attract professionals and skilled labor force by providing cultural services and amenities. Culture is now recognized as one of the pillars of sustainable development. With that, there's 26 pages of extreme cultural master planning, and I will encourage council to vote in favor of this plan. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any discussion or debate on the motion? I don't see anyone in the queue. Seeing none, then I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Please carry on, Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I'll move the council approve the affordable housing agreement between the city and Oasis Fellowship as amended.
Thanks very much. Any discussion or debate on that motion? I wonder if administration could just speak very briefly to how the agreement was amended. Director of Community Services?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, the bottom line is that the bottom line for this project will not be affected at all. There were some cost overruns on the project and just requiring that some funds be released a little bit sooner than had been anticipated.
So the city's total contribution to the project isn't changing, just the funds are being released so much sooner to finalize the project. Is that correct?
That would be correct, Mayor Given.
Okay. Thanks very much, Jane. Okay, so a motion to approve the Affordable Housing Agreement Amendment. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. And on to 9.5.3, Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move the council receive correspondence from the 2010 Arctic Winter Games Host Society regarding the audited financial statements for information. I was wondering, Mr. Mayor Bill Given, if you could speak to that, since you started this committee last term and sat on it and big contributor to these statements.
Sure. Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. It was my pleasure to serve with the committee on the host society. I just would like to highlight that the final net surplus from the games is, as per their financial statements, is $390,499. So it is significantly above the $350,000 that they had initially estimated when they came, and so I think that's a fantastic legacy of financial responsibility, certainly. But if you look deeper at the financial statements, you'll notice that the entire surplus comes from the fact that the community came and supported the games by buying tickets and merchandise. So it really wasn't a situation of sponsors putting in more money than was required. It was a matter of the budget being in the right place and the community coming out to support the games. And so I think those are the only two things that I would highlight from that. And this is the final piece of business for the 2010 Arctic Winter Games. And after council's receive this, we can call it completed. Any further discussion, debate, questions, or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries, and I believe that was everything from Community Development Committee. Councillor Gustafson, was there anything else that you wanted to highlight?
Just want to talk briefly about the pool operation and the fact that we are still keeping it open. We are going to operate the pool, and we are going to swim there all summer and have a great time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. We'll move on to item 9.6, Municipal Government Day Team Meeting, and I believe that was Councillor McLean was chairing that. Councillor McLean, if you'd like to take those minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move council to receive the minutes of the Municipal Government Day meeting held March 29th for 2011.
Thanks very much. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Please carry on, Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move council approve 2011 Municipal Government Day program reflecting the Get Active theme, and that Municipal Government Day be held on June 15th, 2011.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Questions or comments? Councillor McLean, you wanted to add something to your motion? To the
Thank you, Mayor
discussion?
Given. I'd just like to say this Get Active theme is being rehashed, you say, coming back to the community, and I think it's a great thing. And but getting the community more active. And there was also talk about participation. You remember participation, the gold and silver by the federal government, and we're really hoping for some things to come down the road on this. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I see Councillor Monroe.
Thanks, Mayor Given. I suspect I know what Municipal Government Day is, but maybe just some more clarification. Is it like where we, I don't know, do sack races or something, or what kind of activities take place?
Sure. Councillor McLean, would you like to speak to the activities the committee's working on?
Well, I'll speak to a few of them, and I guess Councillor Rice, he's going to be emceeing, can reply, but there's going to be like the Municipal Olympics. They've asked a few communities to come together and come to the City of Grand Prairie. I believe Grand Cache, Spirit River, Beaver Lodge, quite a few areas around us to come, and the response, I guess, has been good in the past, and we expect it to be. And they'll have different levels of Get Active, of where it won't be like everybody's on level 1 and got to go at it hard. You could participate and not maybe drop. So I think it's great. And Municipal Day, it's what we do. And how do we make the city run and for the community to come out and enjoy the day? So maybe Helen Rice, who's emceeing this, I do believe, can speak to this.
Sure. Councillor Rice, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, Municipal Government Day is a day, it's a day of celebration of the municipal government. Our departments have displays and demonstrations as to what they do. There's a display of city equipment as well as transit buses, that type of thing. There's a barbecue where staff and councillors flip burgers. And then we also have, as Alderman McLean mentioned, the Municipal Olympics. We call them the Munios. We invite representatives from our regional municipalities to join with us in celebrating this day. And we this year it's taking a different twist. It's being organized by the Get Fit, Get Active committee, which is incorporated with 10 different community organizations. And they're doing Get Fit Amazing Race, and they'll have 2 levels. One will be so families with your children can take part in it. And then the second level is for the Councillor Gustafson type athletes. So it's a real day of celebration. Down in Muskasippi Park, it goes from 4 to 7. We offer complimentary transit service that day and encourage everybody to come down and celebrate municipal government.
So basically, I'll be flipping burgers.
You will be, unless you're on garbage detail.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Crowe?
Thanks, Mayor Given. I just want to also say that I know it's a fun day, and for everybody to participate, and winning isn't really the object. It's having a good time with our surrounding municipalities. But I'd also like to really give kudos to our staff. They do shirts from 4 to 7, but it's a lot of after hours. Then we have to have everything cleaned up, and then people are back to work the next morning. So I'd like to give them full 100% credit for their participation too. Not only in the games, but putting the whole program together. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Kogan. Looking for further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor McLean, was there anything else that you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
No, that's everything.
Okay, thanks very much. So that finishes our regular agenda. We have no items of correspondence. We have had one delegation, but I believe that was dealt with in our agenda with the Pinnacle Ridge property tax bylaw. We have no notices of motion, so we'll move on to council member reports. And Councillor McLean, I believe you had a Downtown Association report?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, I do. The Downtown Association report for April 4th, 2011. Don't miss the Downtown Shop and Crawl. April 15th, stores open until 10 p.m., a perfect way to start your spring wanderings. And this is a very successful event in the past. The thank you luncheon will be held April 29th as part of the Administration Professional Week. It is a great way to say thank you to your staff. Tickets are available by calling Downtown Association, and possibly Councillor Rice might have a word on this.
Okay. Any further information on those two events? Seeing none, thanks very much, Councillor McLean, and we'll move on to Councillor Wong for the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mayor Given. On Friday, March 25th, the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association held a board meeting. Discussed at that meeting was the 2011 co-op marketing proposals that the association is working on. Just to inform council on this, the GPRTA assists community groups with co-op marketing dollars through Travel Alberta, so it's matching grant dollars. And this year, they're currently working on the Real Shorts Film Festival, the Mudbog Association, and the Country Fever campaign for 2011. As soon as we're finished those ones, we'll be looking at, there should be others for the remainder of the year. Also, trade shows that they'll be representing Grand Prairie on. The Grand Prairie Sports Expo, which was at the Tech Center just this past weekend, they had a booth there, and on April 29th to May 1st, they'll be in Fort McMurray representing Grand Prairie. And finally, the Tourism Association just finished hiring staff for this summer's Travel Alberta campaign. Those are the staff that will be sitting at Centre 2000 and welcoming visitors throughout the summer months. They'll be starting their job on May 19th, and I just wanted to thank Council for approving the extra $21,000 in funding, which allows them to have a home there this summer. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Councillor Wong, I think you also had Multiplex Regional Resource Committee.
Yes, I just wanted to update Council and the public on what's happening with our Multiplex Regional Resource Committee. That is basically the committee that is in charge of doing the $6 million worth of fundraising for the multiplex, as well as filling those lease spaces. Just for information, we had no qualifying proposals that came in for the 5 retail lease spaces, so we're planning to re-advertise those after the RFP for the food kiosks go out. Apparently there's been a lot of excitement around the food kiosks, and we wanted to get that completed before coming back to the RFP for those 5 retail spaces. We are continuing with the Big Picture fundraiser. That one's been running a little bit slow, but I know there is a lot of interest in the community. I think it's just it's one of those campaigns that runs a long time and people keep putting it off. So I'm going to encourage the public to go to the Multiplex website. That's www.themultiplex.ca, and maybe start uploading a few pictures. You can get involved in this campaign more than once. It's only $20 per photo, and that'll allow you to be part of one or more of the 6 murals, the mosaic murals that are going to go up in the multiplex, and they'll be displayed for years to come. And if we get enough pictures early, we've decided that we're going to try to get one printed and temporarily displayed at the Leisure Center ahead of time, just to start creating that buzz, because I believe it's a really great campaign. It's really affordable. Those parents who have kids in sports can get their kids' pictures in there. People who just want to upload a picture of a team or your coworkers could get together and do a corporate campaign. There's a lot of opportunity to get involved as a public, and it does help to offset the costs of the multiplex. So, you know, you get a double bang for your buck there.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. The other one that I had thought of, just given what's happening in my life, is an opportunity to put your kids in there. If you have children that are being born in 2011, and as they grow, they can see their childhood picture in the multiplex. Just a thought. I'm not saying where that came from. Councillor Crokin, I believe you had Prairie Gallery Board.
Thanks, Mayor Given. On March 23rd, I attended the Prairie Art Gallery Board of Directors meeting. The gallery's fiscal year ended March 31st, and it appears as though it would show a modest surplus in revenues for the year. Budgeting has been finalized for the upcoming fiscal year, and it will be another challenging year for the gallery, as it must struggle to raise sufficient funds to operate the expanded building while continue to work hard to support city administration in the construction project. The gallery board and I are moving on into the next phase of strategic planning to support this historic growth of the gallery. After 3 years of research into best practices around the world, we are now discussing how to apply that new information to the Prairie Art Gallery. The gallery's biggest fundraiser of the year, the 31st annual art auction, is being planned for April 16th, and we need and would like all your support more now than ever. And that's it, Mayor Given.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. If there are no more committee updates, then we'll move to council roundtable, and we'll start with Councillor O'Toole. Oh, sorry, Councillor Radburn, did you have a further update? Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Just a quick snippet. I did receive from Kylie just some highlights in terms of the Multiplex Building Committee meeting. And I just share this just to show you the variety of work that's being done and the number of people I think that are working on that project now. Bricklayers are working on the last brick face on elevator shaft. Painting the field house just about complete. Master Pools is finishing piping for spray deck and the play area. Towel guy is done in the pool, fitness area, and is working on the field house showers. Adult hot tub is poured and the family hot tub is being formed. Drywall is 98% complete. Ceiling tile to be starting in select areas very soon. Counters are being installed in second floor fitness and admin. Plumber is working on radiant panels for pool area. So anyway, this gives you a variety of the work that's being done in the Multiplex Committee. It is getting closer. We're at 76% in terms of completion and in construction cost. So we're still looking at the fall of this year for completion. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. And I think we have a question for you there, Councillor Rice.
When will the big ugly dinosaurs be arriving?
Councillor Radburn.
They're starting to arrive now.
I'm so excited.
We're just trying to find places to store them for a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Any further questions for Councillor Radburn? Seeing none, then we'll move on to Council Roundtable and Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you, Mayor Given. On March 23rd, Justin Monroe, Councillor Justin Monroe, and myself attended the Grand Prairie Curling Club, a provincial mixed tourney. And Justin Monroe spoke on behalf of the mayor and the city. And we also had some time spent with John Perkins with the curling club. And I want to congratulate Kurt Balderston and his team for winning the provincial title here. On the 25th, I attended the volunteer awards banquet put on by the city. And I want to bring up one point. Bob Neufeld is a member of the city for a very long time, been involved in sports for well over 50 years. I don't want to get into too many details there, but his worship gave Bob Neufeld a recognition of over 15 years on the Pursuit of Excellence Committee, and I know he was overwhelmed with that. Thank you for that. On the 28th of March, I met with the council, some of the council members, with Alison Redford. And we also attended the Board of Governors from the GPRC here at City Hall. On the 29th, I attended the Center 2000 and the announcement of the Tourism Committee. And they had the announcement of their tourism report. And there's more good things to come out of that, and we've heard lots in the paper, in the news, in the radio as well. On the 31st, I attended the City-County Joint Council meeting, and we had a very long meeting there and discussed a lot of things. And now we know how each other feels. Chamber Mixer, I attended that at Duke's. And we also attended an open house at and met with Dr. Deldet Chiba. Was I pretty close on that one? Okay. He's the head advisor to the Chief Minister for the state of Punjab in India, and he was over here visiting a number of different cities in Canada, and we had the opportunity as council to invited to meet him, and we did. Some of us did. And on April 3rd, I attended the Sportsman Show here in town, and that was my day.
Sounds like a long day.
It was.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. No report today. I just returned last night at midnight from a family trip to Australia, so.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'll give my time to Kevin. No.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I also attended the meeting with Alison Redford here at City Hall and Grand Prairie Regional College Board of Governors discussion that evening, and I was invited to the Bear Lake Watershed Association meeting there to discuss the saving of the Bear Lake and the problems that are arising with that, and I attended the Chamber Mixture, and I was working with the county and the city at our informational exchange meeting that we had with them. So that was all. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Councillor Crokin?
Thanks, Mayor Given. On March 23rd, I attended the Prairie Art Gallery meeting, which I'd alluded to earlier. On the 24th, the volunteer recognition at Centre 2000. And again, I'd like to give kudos and special recognition, as the mayor did, to Bob Neufeld. Our city is made up of many, many, many volunteers, which functions that we host here could not happen without our volunteers. So really, it was really well done, and thanks again to the mayor. On the 25th, I did abundance of tender openings. On the 28th, I also was with council members. I met with Alison Redford, MLA from Calgary, a leadership hopeful. She was very interesting. Later evening, we met with the Grand Prairie Regional College Board of Governors, and to talk about the Health and Education Center, which is all of a very, very big interest to ourselves, the city, and the region. On the 31st, of course, we were there meeting with the county at the Evergreen Park. It's a great facility in the county, and we did have some very good open discussions and working very well on the things that we work very well at. And there are some that we're working well with, but maybe not quite as well. So it was a very, very good lunch meeting. Later in the afternoon, the Chamber Mixer at Duke's, thanks to Joe. Good job. And later at the Kia with Dr. Cheeseman from the Punjab, and I'd given him a Grand Prairie pin, and he invited me to the Punjab. Well, I think that would be exciting. I'd love to go there. It would, on the city, I could represent the city economic development. Maybe not. Okay, I got to try. And thanks again to Yad Minhas. He's a former alderman. He had hosted the doctor there. That was a very informative to listen to him, and very pleased to have him stop at Grand Prairie. That's everything, Mayor.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Councillor Monroe?
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. Just a couple of items of note that haven't been mentioned. On March 24th, I attended or I went out to the STARS new hangar. Took a tour of the facility. It's a great facility. I understand that Peter Tykerobe had essentially gifted this hangar to the Stars group. Many of their directors were here. Grand Prairie was host to their directors' retreats, and I encourage anyone that if you have the opportunity to go out to the Stars facility to please take a look and see how fascinating it is. On April 1st, I participated out at Nighthawk's Swash Cup. It was a chilling experience, to say the least. And then today I had a brief meet and greet with Premier hopeful Doug Horner, MLA from, I believe, Calgary. Anyways, it was nice meeting with Doug. Look forward to meeting more of the candidates as we go along. And then past that, I found out today that I was certified to sit on the assessment review board, and I understand that Councillor Crokin barely passed as well. And anyways. And that's all I have, Mayor Given. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Monroe. Councillor Rice? You'll have to turn your own mic on there, Councillor Rice.
Sorry. On March 22nd, I brought greetings at the opening banquet of the Provincial Mixed Curling Championships. I guess Alderman O'Toole, or Councillor O'Toole didn't want to go with me, so I had to go by myself. And I attended at the volunteer recognition reception. It's fascinating to look around that room and see the diversity of the volunteers. Ones have been volunteering for years, new ones, every age and whatever you can imagine. So it was really heartwarming. I too had attended the meeting with Alison Redford and as well as with the Grand Prairie Regional College Board of Governors. I thought they made an excellent point as they urged all of us to begin thinking of it not as a new hospital, but as the new health and education center, that it will be much more than a new hospital, and we need to keep driving that point home. Attended the meeting with the city and the county and the Chamber of Commerce mixer where they announced the lineup for this year's Mud Country. I encourage everyone to go on Green Grouch. Green Grouch website, there's a checklist. Every time you fill the checklist out, Grand Prairie gets 3 points. Red Deer was badly lagging behind us, but Mayor Fluelling has done a big push and they're catching up quickly. So Green Grouch is the name of the website. Go in there, get registered for Grand Prairie and fill out your checklist every week. It's a very simple checklist. I would be surprised if did you turn out a light when it wasn't being used? Did you use a reusable bag when you bought stuff? So it's very easy. It's certainly not onerous. On April 16th, there will also be a rather interesting event happening down in Muskosipi Park Pavilion. Habitat for Humanity has donated some used building materials, and students from the Grand Prairie Regional College are building works of art out of these used building materials, and there will be a wine and cheese reception. Tickets are $27.50 each, and these works of art will be auctioned off, and there'll be some entertainment. So I urge those of you who haven't, made the commitment to go to the Prairie Gallery art auction, here's another alternative for you that night. Again, something different. That's all I have.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor Wong?
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. On Thursday, March 24th, I attended the volunteer recognition reception at Centre 2000. Later that evening, I went to the GP Live Theatre for the premiere opening of the documentary film Trek. The film was based on a book written by past Alderman Elroy Dimert and directed by Dr. Alan Siegel from the GPRC, and it was about the On to Ottawa trek and the Regina riots of 1935. On Monday, March 28th, I attended the meeting with Council and Alison Redford. Also on the 28th, I was at the meeting with the Grand Prairie Regional College Board of Governors. On March 30th, The Combative Sports Commission held a workshop to go over the details for the May 14th event that's going to be held at the Crystal Center. We're basically just going over everyone's role and everything that we need to get done before the start of that event. On Thursday, March 31st, I was at Center 2000 for the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association's announcement for the Tourism Economic Impact Study submitted by Econometrics Research Limited, and I have forwarded a copy of the report to every member on council. Also, I was present at the joint city and county council meeting. On March 31st, I attended the chamber mixer at Duke's and was also at the Grand Prairie Kia dealership for Dr. Chima's Welcome to Grand Prairie. I noticed that when the mayor did offer his greetings from the city, he didn't speak a word of Punjabi, which was really surprising since at the Chinese New Year he did speak some Chinese for us.
You set the bar high, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Finally, on Friday, April 1st, I was a guest lecturer on behalf of the Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association at the college's tourism leadership class.
Great, thanks
Thank
very
you.
much, Councillor Wong. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. March 24th, I attended the volunteer recognition event at the Center 2000. It was very well put on together by the city, and I'd like to special thank to Jennifer Young, who organized and done a great job there. As well, I was at the March 28th meeting with the Grand Prairie Regional College Board of Governors about the Health and Education Center, which I do believe it's going to be both health and education, and hopefully we'll have a building, not just footings, maybe proceed in the fall, and it won't be a cost overruns. On March 29th as well, we had our first meeting, Municipal Day celebration. I was very proud to be involved with this and chair it, my first chair, and I've been at a few of these. This is the 10th year, and I think the city staff's going to do a wonderful job, and I look forward to it, and I look forward to a sunny day. And today as well, I'm not going to go, I'll guarantee you. No wind and a sunny day. And as well, today I had a few individuals come from Weyerhaeuser, and we went to the new multiplex for a tour. I believe to bring more enthusiasm and a spirit in the city, to just not see the outside shell, but to see the inside. You will drive home the message of buying yearly passes and selling out the big picture murals. So I'm hoping to do more of this if Cheryl has time, and to make it bigger and help her out a bit. That's everything.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. So for my report, I was not here for last council meeting on the 21st, and so I have to say first, thanks very much to Councillor Monroe for stepping into the chair and chairing the meeting. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure council members do as well. Thank you. Congratulations.
That was over in 45 minutes.
He's efficient. That's what I've heard about him. And so the last council meeting that I was able to give a report at was actually March 7th. So I'm not going to cover all of the events that happened in between there and tonight. I will cover a couple though. The reason that I missed that council meeting was because from the 19th to the 23rd, I traveled to Mazatlan, Mexico, and was there to join in with some Rotarians from Grand Prairie as they traveled on the highway to Mexico project, and was also there to renew the sister city relationship between the city of Grand Prairie and the city of Mazatlan. We signed that agreement in 2008, and since then we've got new mayors on both sides of the border, and so it was a perfect opportunity to make that sort of connection again. It's interesting to note that this mayor, the new mayor in Mazatlan, Alejandro Higuera, is actually the mayor that had initiated the sister city agreement way back before we signed it in 2008, so he's back again. Also, while I was there, I had the pleasure and honor of being able to be present at the start of construction of a park in Mazatlan that will recognize a Grand Prairie resident. Rotarian Alan Keekley is having a park named in his honor in Mazatlan, and I will bring further details on that to council. I think it's certainly special when a Grand Prairie resident is recognized like that, especially in our sister city, and I hope maybe there would be some way that the city of Grand Prairie could participate in that. During the time there, I had an opportunity to discuss something that a lot of people have asked me about since I returned, and that was the question of safety in Mazatlan. And this certainly was a concern for all the government officials that I spoke to there. their perception is that that largely the concerns around safety are media-driven. And in checking that with Canadian residents who have lived there for, in some cases, up to 17 years, have spent time there, they say that they feel no less safe there this year or last year than they have any of their other 17 years. And so I think that was very comforting to know, and certainly I told the Mayor of Mazatlan that I would bring that message back to Grand Prairie. There has been some discussion in the media about cruise ships taking Mazatlan off of their roster of stops, and in discussion with the city officials, they highlighted to me that in fact all of the cruise lines are in the midst of renegotiating their docking fees with the state government right now. And so if I was reading between the lines, I would say that the no port of call at Mazatlan may have as much or more to do with that renegotiation of fees than it does with anything else. So interesting to note. Speaking about the future, the Mayor of Mazatlan indicated that he was interested in traveling to Grand Prairie, and I certainly made contact with a number of their council who believe that there are a lot of opportunities for our communities to work together, and they said that they'd be forwarding information to me and then through me on to City Council about future opportunities for our communities to work together. After I returned home on the 24th, I attended a lunch meeting of the Grand Prairie Home Builders Association, where I was able to speak to their membership about some of the challenges facing the City of Grand Prairie, and appreciated the opportunity and the feedback that I received afterwards from that meeting. And then I also attended at the volunteer appreciation, and I just wanted to mention that again because I certainly appreciate the work that our staff did arranging that. It's a fantastic event, and it's a very small show of gratitude for people who do so much for us throughout the year by giving of their time to volunteer for the City of Grand Prairie. So thank you to staff for arranging that, making the arrangements, and thank you to all those volunteers who serve the City of Grand Prairie so well. On the 25th, I attended at the Northern Alberta Elected Leaders Meeting in Peace River. I had the opportunity to drive up with the Mayor of Sexsmith, and so some good discussion in the car on both directions. But while we were there, there was a presentation from the ERCB, and they presented on the basics of shale gas. And I have to admit that it wasn't something that I knew a ton about before, but I left astounded at the opportunity, the long-term economic opportunity that there is in the Grand Prairie region. They highlighted some of the geological formations where they think that there's potential, and there's one that sort of loops down south around Grand Prairie and goes up to the north, and then there's a couple that loop north around Grand Prairie and then go down south, but we're basically right in the center of all of it. And extracting the resources from the shale formations is highly labor intensive, requires a lot of people to do, and the production takes up to sometimes 30, 40 years. Once a well's drilled, it would be in production. So it's a long-term resource. Ultimately, of course, the natural gas prices have to be at a certain level to make it feasible to go and drill that. But to me, it speaks very strongly about the positive potential for the future of our region and for Grand Prairie. And it highlighted to me that the decisions that we make now, we have to look to a community that's going to continue to grow well into the future. On the 31st, it was my pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of Council and the City to the 61st Annual CUPE Provincial Convention that was held here in the City of Grand Prairie. Over 200 delegates from across the province were in attendance, and from chatting with them, it was interesting to note that their previous time that they had been on the cycle to come to Grand Prairie was during the boom, and they couldn't host it in Grand Prairie because of the cost of hotels. So they were able to return again as the economy's changed, but kind of a interesting indication of some of the economic activity that goes away when we're really, really busy in other areas. And then on April 1st, I had a visit from Red Deer Council member, Diane Wentes. She was here to present me with a gift from the Mayor of Red Deer and a formal challenge letter in response to my challenge. She presented me with a green grouch golf shirt. So people will see me around the community wearing that this summer to help promote that. Of course, it was all in the nature of good fun, but I did take it a little bit to heart that they had in their media called Grand Prairie a hamlet and suggested that they could beat the hamlet of Grand Prairie very, very easily. So I raised that issue with her very gently in discussion. This Saturday, I attended at the Grand Prairie Boys Choir fundraiser, their medieval feast. I've got to say it was a fantastic event. Great turnout the night that I was there. They had over 200 people there. Great support for the Grand Prairie Boys Choir, who are going to an international festival in Phoenix, Arizona. And finally, the only other thing that I would note is that in the space of the last approximately 4 weeks, myself, individually or council, have had the opportunity to meet with PC Party leadership hopefuls Alison Redford, Gary Marr, and Doug Horner. I also had an opportunity this weekend to meet with Brian Mason, the leader of the provincial NDP, and also had a chance to meet with Tammy Maloney, a leadership candidate for the Alberta Party. And in each one of these cases, I viewed it as an opportunity for us to discuss Grand Prairie's story, the concerns that we have about the sustainability of municipalities, the position that the AUMA has about the need for something to replace the MSI. And I think that the City of Grand Prairie needs to ensure that each one of our council members are taking up every one of those opportunities, and that the doors to City Hall stay open to any provincial politician that comes our way, so that we take up those opportunities to tell our story. And with that, if there's nothing else for the council agenda, then we will call our meeting finished. Thank you.